Hello, guys, and welcome back to Paint the Town Dead. I am one half of your host, Caitlin.
And I'm Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
What are you up to?
Well, we literally just got back from like a 16-hour drive. It was like 15 hours. 15-hour drive from Florida. So, a little tired.
That's too many hours.
It was a lot in the car. My sitter's tired of sitting. That's okay.
Okay.
What?
I just, when you said sitter, I thought you were talking about like a babysitter. And I was like, what? What are you talking about?
You were the sitter. You were the house sitter and the dog sitter.
That's right.
How'd that go?
That's fine. Nobody puked anywhere they weren't supposed to.
Nobody pooped on the table.
Yeah.
That happened. We
Those
talked
are
about
things
that
that have
before. The poop won't happen again because that was the cat and the cat is now deceased.
Well, dogs can poop.
I don't think they would do it on the table though.
No, they probably couldn't pull that one off.
That would be pretty incredible.
I would just be like, throw the table away. It's clearly cursed.
Yeah. Clearly it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
So happy to be back home. That is a long trip, let me tell you. And it rained most of the days we were there. And somehow I still managed to get sunburned, so that's fun.
Yeah, you have something wrong with you.
I must. I am incredibly fair complected. I am meant for the Irish hillside, not this sunny Florida weather.
Sure, if you say so.
It's like 15 hours closer to the equator then, right?
Well, I don't know.
The sun's a little heavier closer to the equator, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
See, there's the problem.
If you say so.
I don't belong in Florida.
I mean, it sounds like nobody belongs in Florida right now.
Wow. But Arkansas is right on par with them, so.
Hell yeah.
We have to be number one in something, baby.
Yeah, it's going great.
We love it.
COVID stuff's awesome. Who could have seen this coming? Everybody who told you that was going to happen, and now it's happening. Oh, wow. What a weird thing.
Literally undetectable. How? Fun fact, you won't like this. This is the first time you're going to hear this. I had a possible exposure at work.
Oh, I think you told me that at some point.
No. It happened like Friday.
Oh, cool.
But no, everything's cool. I feel fine.
I can incubate for 2 weeks.
It seems that everybody's doing okay, though. I don't know.
I mean, everybody I know is doing okay because everybody I know, for the most part, is not a weird person with brain worms who is scared of vaccinations suddenly because some orange goblin man told him to be scared of them.
This sounds like a horror story.
Yeah, weird.
Guess what? It is a horror story.
Yeah, America's dying. It's fine. Yeah. Let's talk about the story that's going to be less depressing.
Is it also death?
It'll be less depressing and involve less death and less about people having neo-Nazi jerk-off fantasies like QAnon.
Yeah.
So, it'll be less depressing than talking about the death of America and how millions of people hate democracy now.
Cool.
All right. So, this is episode 71, I believe. That's what I wrote.
Yep, I think that's right.
I initially wrote 70 and I was like,
that's not right.
I was looking at the folder. It literally says 70 right there. Why did I write 70?
Why did you?
I guess because I saw 70 and I just...
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just a sheep. I just do what I see.
You just
monkey see, monkey do.
That's right.
So we're talking about Marcel Wayne Williams.
Oh.
He was born August 20th, 1970 in North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Hey.
Yeah?
You know that place.
I sure do. Went to high school there. It's fine. It's a lot nicer now. They built like fancy new facilities. Yeah. They're like, hey, remember that science building that didn't have air conditioning all spring?
Shut up.
That one time? Yeah, it's not there anymore. We built a fancy new building. It looks like fancy condos.
Oh my gosh, that's how neither of the high schools I went to high school to, because it was one high school, two different campuses. They're both gone. Both the buildings are gone. They look like colleges. That's how nice they look.
The main building at North Rock is still there. I think it's on like a national registry because it's fancy and old.
Yeah.
Fun fact, we were supposed to be the ones integrated and they just shut the school down. Yeah, you'll see that a lot in history where it's like, let's integrate. And they're like, no, let's just, we're just not going to have a pool now.
We don't need it.
There's no public park now. We're just going to pull the plug on it.
Just close it down.
So cool stuff.
That's nice. John went to Central High.
Yeah, they eventually shut that school down too.
Yeah, they did. God, little Arkansas. Ugh.
We're not the only ones. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been like Ole Miss, where they murdered people when they tried to integrate it.
Shut up. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in history.
In the South. Okay, cool.
So anyway, he was raised by his mother and stepfather because he never knew his biological father. Bad news, his mother and stepfather are bad people because they would abuse him.
Aww. Why is that always the case?
I mean, I guess it's just the kinds of people who are drawn to doing murders.
Yeah.
They're often not from great places.
No.
Sometimes they are, but I think most times not.
I think you're right.
Like they would like beat him. They would burn him.
Oh my gosh.
His mother would like wake him up in the middle of the night and hit him with belt buckles or extension cords.
Oh my, were they drug addicts or alcoholics?
I don't know, but I mean, there's something wrong with them.
Wow, that's so sad.
And they would just like neglect him as well. Like it says neglected him medically and nutritionally. So like
that breaks my heart.
And also the parents would, fight and stuff.
Yeah.
There's violence between them.
Volatile relationship.
Yeah. Not a great home for anybody.
That's so sad.
Unless you're like Satan. Satan would love that home.
Yeah.
He'd be a big fan.
Yeah.
As a kid, Marcel, he committed several thefts, which got him sent to a juvenile detention facility in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Eventually, he's going to be released, and afterwards, he would commit armed robbery.
Oh, Marcel.
This time, they sent him to an adult prison.
How old was he?
He is 15.
That's so funny that you say that. I was listening to a case this past week where a child, I think they were 13, they were sentenced to death. Maybe they were 15. Either way,
when?
A teenager.
And where?
Not that long ago. It was, and then a law was passed. It was like, if they're a minor, they can't be sentenced to death. So all the people on death row who were sentenced as minors, they were all reduced, to life without parole.
That's pretty wild. That seems too young. Unless you're like a
Right.
teenage serial killer. Like, I don't know.
I think that they had
wild.
killed multiple people, but no, what? I don't remember what. I don't remember. It was one of the podcasts I listened to. The guy, totally transformed himself. Oh, I know what it was. He and his friends, it was one of the, I wish I could tell you what podcast it was. It was either Crime Junkie or Anatomy of Murder or Dateline. It was one of those. But he had held up a woman and her friend. He and his like friends, he said he grew up in a really rough neighborhood, really rough life. And he and his friends they had a gun, and they're like, all right, the next people that walk by, we're going to hold him up. And so they held him up, and they were freaking out. The woman was freaking out, and he ended up like just shooting her in the face, and then her friend like in the back or something. She lived. She had to have a bunch of reconstructive surgeries. He was sentenced to death for that. And he was sitting there on death row, and it was so sad. And she lived anyway. But he was in a circumstance where the reformation did work for him. And because when he was a kid, he was put in like adult prison stuff. And they like, when they put him in there, they were like, we have to put you in solitary confinement for your own safety because you're a child.
Hey, guess what they didn't do for Marcel?
They didn't protect him.
No, he would be beaten in prison. He would be sexually assaulted. He was gang raped in prison.
Oh my gosh.
So 15-year-olds probably don't belong in adult prison generally.
That is correct.
I would think, there's probably got to be something where you could be like, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I bet they can be tried as adult, but they can't, like at a certain, like a judge can determine if they can be tried as an adult.
Yeah, and like maybe you put them in a juvenile detention center
until they're 18.
Yeah,
and then they can be transferred.
So I think generally, if you go to a juvenile detention center, it's usually like you get out at 18 and like whatever.
But if keep them out of a prison population of adults,
if you've decided like, hey, he's a horrible like teenage serial killer or whatever situation is that I described.
Right. Happy ending on ours. He was released from prison because the lady, they made friends, and he was actually reformed, and he turned into like a good human being.
That's good.
Who's very remorseful for what he did. Anyways, go ahead. I just had to wrap that up. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So April of 1994, he gets out of prison on parole.
Okay.
And
he would be what, early 20s at this point? Yes.
Yeah. What's the
70 to 94? I can do that one.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that's 24.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Perfect. Nailed it. Let's see. Let me look at his birthday. August. So he'd be 23, Caitlin. His birthday hasn't come up yet.
I was so close.
You idiot. You're so dumb. I can't believe you.
We did mental math.
You did good enough.
Okay.
You didn't know the months off the top of your head, probably.
No.
You don't have the sheet of paper
Like
/ laptop screen.
See, I like to make it a surprise. I don't read along. You read along, I don't.
I read along because I'll forget things, and it just helps me.
Okay.
It's the way my brain works.
I'm just watching you absorbing the story. Tell it to me. Tell it to me.
So now we're going to talk about a woman named Stacy Rae Errickson. She is a 22-year-old mother of 2.
Aww.
She got a 7-year-old girl and a boy that's less than a year old. November 20th of 1994. So just a few months, really. Less than a year since he's gotten out. You can probably see where this is going. The Sunday before Thanksgiving, Errickson left her kids with a babysitter. She's going off to work. She goes to a gas station in Jacksonville, which is it's near Little Rock. It's where the Little Rock Air Force Base is.
Yeah.
It's close enough that they were like, yeah, we'll call it that.
Learned one of my dad's friend's kids live there. He's in the Air Force. Didn't know that.
Oh.
It was a friend that we visited in Florida while we were there. He's like, oh yeah, my son's on Arkansas. And Jacksonville was like, I'm like not far from there at all.
Well, you don't want to hang out with those Air Force boys.
No, I don't really want to go to Jacksonville, to be honest.
I get the feeling that the Air Force military boys in general, especially when they're young, are kind of rowdy. Yeah. Which is why there's strip clubs in Jacksonville and nowhere else nearby.
Yep. Yep. That's the one.
That's just the impression I get.
That's the one.
So yeah. She goes to the gas station. It's 6:45 a.m. And she is approached by Marcel Wayne Williams. Oh. He pulls a gun on her while she's in her car and forces her to get into the passenger side of the car. So he's gonna get in the driver's side. He's gonna drive around. And he took her to 18 different ATMs, forcing her to withdraw money. The transactions totaled $350. And the last transaction was at 7:37 a.m. And these are seen like there's security cameras.
Right.
Even back then in 94.
You could see faces and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And after that, Errickson disappears. She doesn't go to work. She doesn't file a police report. She doesn't ever show up to pick up her kids from the babysitter. Nothing.
Oh.
So 9 days later, November 29th, the police go and arrest Marcel Williams because he has an outstanding warrant, and they also wanted to question him because there was physical evidence that linked him to 2 sexual assaults against women.
DNA or?
I don't know, but so 2 days after the disappearance of Stacy Errickson, he kidnapped a woman from North Little Rock, raped her, tied her up, and left her in a closet in an abandoned home, and then boarded up the door when he left.
Oh my gosh.
And
the closet door?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so she ends up escaping and survives.
Wow.
The day after that, he kidnaps a different woman from Cabot and sexually assaults her as well, and she gets away. So obviously, he's up to no good.
Violent offender.
And while they are interrogating him for these crimes, he eventually admits to kidnapping Errickson and robbing her.
But that's all he admits to?
That's all he admits to. He's like, I didn't do anything else. I didn't do any sexual assaulting. Or
murdering.
I didn't do any murdering. As far as I knew, she's still alive. Which is always the story.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Listen, last time I saw them, they were alive.
I don't know what happened to them.
It's almost never true.
Right.
Outside of I don't know, somebody from Law and Order who's like, last time I saw her, she was leaving the bar. Like, what? What kind of bartender are you? How do you recognize all these people? It's ridiculous.
Do you recognize one? Oh, yeah. She was in here with 500 other people on Thursday night.
Yeah. She was with some guy. He didn't seem so happy, though. Every episode of Law and Order.
Here is his very specific description.
Yeah, every time. It's weird.
I'd be like, maybe they were here. I don't know. I don't recognize them.
For real. December 5th of 94, they do find Stacy Rae Errickson's body in a shallow grave on the banks of the Arkansas River.
Where at?
Just said the banks of the Arkansas River, so,
Not specific location?
No.
Okay.
She had been raped and strangled. Ugh. So the police then are like, hey, we're going to arrest you for this because obviously you probably did it.
You did it.
He's charged with capital murder, kidnapping, rape, and aggravated robbery. And interesting this was something he would. You see that he like repeat offended after this. Like he raped 2 other women after this. There were 2 different women who testified that Williams had tried to follow them from the gas station, and they managed to get away.
So he was just on a roll.
Yeah, at the same gas station too.
Oh,
that same morning, they were able to get away, and they like drove to the Air Force Base, which is like right there, like right off the freeway, you know.
And he's not going to mess with anything there.
Yeah, it's like there's military guys that.
Right.
It's kind of like going to the police station. Or whatever. Right. Same deal, except it's probably.
They have guns, lots of guns.
They have more guns, better guns even.
And they're young, strapping, fit young men.
Hey, some police officers are fit.
Some are. That's true.
I don't know. What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying.
Caitlin's calling police officers pigs who eat nothing but donuts.
That is not
I can't believe that. Can you
stop
believe
it?
Caitlin Proctor would do that?
As you get older and you become a detective, you don't have to like be fit for, going out and doing force stuff.
You probably have to be somewhat fit.
I don't know.
I've watched Law and Order. They go chasing after people all the time.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Sure it is. But yeah, so not super surprising, but knowing what we know now. So but it's not like, I don't know, your standard crime of opportunity where it's like, I just came across this. Well, how about that?
Yeah.
It's like, no, he was staking this out.
Yeah.
This was like the spot he was going to do. He is very guilty, and he will be found guilty at trial. Mm-hmm. Shocking. And he is sentenced to death in 1997. Mm. Now's the time where we get to talk about appeals, baby. Because that's always fun and always a part of the death sentence stuff.
So, question.
Let's go. Hopefully I have answers.
Well, we talk about like people on death row automatically get appeals. Automatically.
Yes.
Like but they can waive their rights to appeals.
Yeah.
And like they won't have to sit through any more trials or anything else. They're just like, I'm guilty, put me to death.
Apparently, as we learned in episode 1.
Episode 1, yeah, Ronald Gene Simmons.
And we've had other ones where like they've appealed a few times and they have more appeals possible, and they're just like, know what?
I don't want to do it
Let's
anymore.
stop.
Yeah.
We've had a few like that.
So, I mean, and they just, that's it. They're not forced to make any appeal. If they want to waive it, they just waive it, and they can choose the death.
Yeah. Your attorneys, that they will try and get you to appeal because they're conceivably there to give you the best defense possible.
Right.
But you can just tell them like they have to listen to you at some point.
I wonder if you have to like go through some kind of like mental exam to waive your right or anything.
I don't know, probably to some extent, or at least if you're not
to show that you're competent and that by waiving your rights. You've been sentenced to death, and that will come swiftly.
Well, if they determine you're not competent, then they can't execute you anyway.
Well, yeah, it's questionable. As we learned in episode whatever that was with...
yeah, they're not supposed to, I guess, is what I would say.
Who is that? What was his name?
Ricky Ray Rector.
Ricky Ray Rector, yeah. Man, that one was tough.
That was weird and bad.
Go listen to that one.
Bad time.
That was a death row one. That was, yeah.
That was odd. Yeah.
Anyway, that was death row. Just, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I assume they're like, yeah. So the lawyers claim that his attorneys did a bad job at trial.
Of course. Which
they probably did. Who knows? Because they said that they didn't ever bring up like his horrible upbringing and all that stuff.
But honestly, for real. But still, you're culpable. But also,
well, and what they were appealing wasn't even like the guilt part. It was the death penalty part. Oh, so they were basically like, he shouldn't get the death penalty. He should get life without parole instead.
Okay.
And in December of 2007, a judge agrees. He says, it is reasonably probable that, but for the errors and omissions of his lawyers, the jury would have returned a verdict to impose a sentence of life imprisonment without parole rather than a sentence of death.
Honestly, I kind of agree with him, because if I had known all that, I mean, I have a soft spot for people, that go through all that stuff. Like, you're almost, not to say that you can't heal, but somebody who wasn't given any chance at all to be like, I mean, he had no chance. I mean, to be a productive, he had very little chance. I will say that, very, very little chance of becoming a productive member of society who's mentally stable. You know what I mean? Like he was destined for this and it wasn't his fault from the beginning, but he knew what he was doing when he did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like they're saying he's incompetent. Like,
right.
So often is the appeal.
Right. He was competent when he did it, but had he had a normal childhood, a loving childhood, and hadn't, I mean, he probably would have stood a much better chance of not committing violent crimes, you know?
Yeah. So his sentence is reduced to life without parole.
Okay.
But then that appeal is overturned on
Oh,
procedural grounds. It was like, you didn't file this quick enough or whatever.
I hate that.
I mean, you got to have some rules.
Yeah, I guess so.
And the lawyers need to know them. So
have fun with that.
So anyway, execution. It's back on.
Wow.
So March 27th, 2017, the Arkansas Board of Parole held a hearing to whether to grant clemency. And at the hearing, Williams says, I wish I could take it back, but I can't. Pretty common thing that you hear. It's like, course. I wish I hadn't done that.
But I did, and here I am.
Yeah. It is rejected with a 5-2 vote. So this was one of the several controversial executions in Arkansas.
When they were running out of the medicines?
Yes.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yes, we've talked about this
multiple times.
3 other times. So basically, I won't go over it too long because we've talked about it several times.
Yeah.
Essentially, the state was running out of midazolam.
Versed.
And it was expiring at a certain date. So they were like, okay, let's fast track a bunch of executions. So like, all right, we're going to kill these 8 people in like a week. And
wow.
Yeah.
And they did.
Well, not quite. So the thing is, like, pharmaceutical companies refuse to sell drugs for lethal injection. There was even like a lawsuit where one of the companies was like, we sold them this and we specifically said they couldn't use it for this. And so that held up some stuff for a bit. So originally the state's going to do 8 executions. And there was like protests from people who came from all over the country. Johnny Depp was here in Little Rock at some point.
I remember that.
It was weird.
It was.
Eventually, like, appeals and stays of execution get filed and all this stuff. Drops the number down to 4. So from 8 to 4.
Are we covering all 4 of them?
This is the 4th one.
This is the series that we've been waiting for.
So April 24th, 2017 is the date of execution. His final meal is fried chicken.
You know I love this.
Nachos, potato logs with ketchup, 2 sodas, and banana pudding.
What soda was it?
It didn't say in the article I saw. No last words.
Wow.
He is scheduled on that day to be executed after Jack Harold Jones on the same day.
Jack Harold Jones. Tell us about him.
You can go listen to episode 57.
There you go.
I wrote that down. You're welcome. His execution is scheduled for 8:15 p.m. However, a temporary stay is placed after Jones's execution.
Why?
Because there were claims that Jones's execution did not go well, and so it was declared to be torturous and inhuman.
Did it? I don't remember this. Did it?
There were claims of that, but so they delayed the execution for a bit. Williams was on the gurney, like getting ready to be have the needle in when the stay comes down. They actually while they're waiting, they allow him to go to the restroom, which is, I can't remember what case it was now, but there's one we did where a guy was like he was in the chair and had the needles in him when they had and they're like, oh, we got to wait for the Supreme Court to give us a verdict. So he like sat there for like 45 minutes with the needle in his arm.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Yeah. It's kind of like
facing your mortality. Just sitting there. It's
kind of terrifying. But he got to go to the restroom.
Question.
Yeah.
The people in the room that are like doing everything, do they wear some kind of covering?
I don't know. I don't know if they do that with lethal injection. You never hear who did it, so maybe.
Yeah, you never know. It's never stated.
It probably shouldn't be.
Well, I'm sure it has to be somewhere, but it's not public information.
Yeah,
because it would have to be a physician or a nurse pushing under the direction of a physician.
Yeah.
So to give I would think so. Those are both controlled substance. I mean, Versed is a controlled substance, so I would think it would have to be a physician or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the court denies the motion. The stay is lifted at 9:30 p.m. and he is placed back in and injected at 10:16 p.m. Sounds like it did not go super well. Sounds like this was a bad one.
Why? What happened?
It says that he like breathed heavily and like appeared to be in pain, arched his back and stuff. And he didn't die until 10:33.
Oh, that's a long time.
So yeah, I maybe it's not a great thing to do. I don't know. He's dead at 10:33. He is 46 years old.
At that point, just push. Just give him all. Just give it all. Give all the verse. Just push it all, and just give it all. Just give it all.
Governor Asa Hutchinson, he says, after more than 20 years, justice has prevailed for the family of Stacy Errickson. I reviewed this case thoroughly and determined that clemency should not be granted.
Yeah.
I appreciate the patience and long suffering of the Errickson family through this ordeal. This is a serious and reflective time in our state, and it is important for the Errickson family and all Arkansans to know that in this case, our laws ended in justice. This was the first double execution in U.S. in over 16 years. The last one was in Texas, where you'd expect all double executions to happen.
Sounds about right.
Or Mississippi. I get that vibe.
Yeah.
So the other 4 executions of 2017 during that period, you had Liddell Lee. That's episode 61. Jack Harold Jones, previously mentioned, he was executed the same day, episode 57. Marcel Wayne Williams, which we just did, and Kenneth DeWayne Williams, all the way back in episode 41.
Wow.
So we've covered all of them. There's also the 4 who lived, and I believe I've put at least most of them on the list, so we'll probably cover them at some point.
Have you covered any of them?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have.
Okay. Man, is that it?
That's everything.
Where'd you get your information from?
Arkansas Online, KTV, Case Law, most places I got my stuff from.
About the usual. Wikipedia.
No Wikipedia.
None?
No Wikipedia. I don't use Wikipedia as a source, Caitlin.
I do.
I use it as a source for finding sources.
That is true. You can go down the bottom and look at their references.
That's what I do. That's what I told my professor in college. They were like, hey, don't use Wikipedia. I was like, I don't. I just use it for finding sources to sources.
I forgot to mention on the last episode, Bass Reeves. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Bass Reeves, legendsofamerica.com. It was a big article by Kathy Weiser. It was a great site, had a lot of information. Wikipedia, Encyclopedia of Arkansas, and then I use a little information about Bright's disease from Wikipedia as well. But I use a lot of information from Legends of America, so I just forgot to mention that last time. Andrew, that was a good episode. You did a good job.
Thank you.
We've talked about this before, kind of like with the Ricky Ray Rector. I mean, in case you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. It's a really good episode. Andrew did a good job. You did that episode, didn't you? Yeah, you
definitely.
He did a bunch of crimes, was totally competent when he did them, and then he shot himself, basically putting him back in the mindset of a 5-year-old. Didn't understand what was going on. He didn't fully understand the repercussions of his actions. He basically institutionalized himself, but he was never treated like that after that. He was still on death row, and when he was getting ready to go get put to death for his last meal, he told them to hang on to his pie and he'd come back for it later. So he still, at the very end, did not understand what was happening to him. And so it's kind of the same situation, I feel like, with this case. Like, with Marcel Williams, it's like, not that he didn't understand what he did, but, I mean, the psychological damage done to this man from the beginning, he never
had a chance at a real life.
He never had a chance. And like, how do you rehabilitate somebody like that who's so damaged? Is it possible? Is it possible to somebody who has suffered just just so much damage, to his mind and to his body? Like, his psyche is just shot at this point, like, can he be rehabilitated? And, you and I always say, like, harsher punishment for violent offenders, especially repeat violent offenders, because they're going to do it again. But I mean, same thing with this case. I mean, he was going to do it again. He showed he was going to do it again and get worse.
And basically did.
Yes.
And he tried multiple times that same day.
Right. So it's like, yeah, he's going to do it again. But, I mean, how do you stop this from happening, you know? It's just so unfair. I mean, what's the solution, you know? Andrew, answer me that. What's the solution? How do we fix it?
I don't know.
Well, I need you to fix the world's problems. Okay, thanks.
Well, I'm trying, but the world keeps looking like it is. So maybe find somebody else to fix it.
Tweet harder, Andrew. Tweet harder.
I'll just stop tweeting about dumb bullcrap like wrestling or whatever.
Yeah, do that.
That's the real problem.
I need you to make more vaccine Facebook statuses, okay? Do more.
Oh, I make plenty of those on Facebook. I made one today.
You did, and yesterday, and probably the day before that.
I took a few days off of making any Facebook posts.
You took a vacation while I was on vacation?
Because I was like, I gotta chill for a minute here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last one was like 5 days ago before I made this one today.
I'm really proud of you.
And let's see, I believe they're both. No, the other one's about being tracked by the government.
Oh.
And how if you're posting on Facebook about not wanting to be tracked, you're already being tracked. And also, they found Ted Kaczynski in the shack.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that on this show at some point. So I just steal all of my material from the show and put it on Facebook.
You know who else stole their material?
Who?
Robin Williams. But he said it was when he was like first starting out in comedy clubs, he'd just go and stay there for hours and listen to people's bits and just think it was hilarious. And he just absorbed so much of it. He just kind of regurgitated it and didn't realize. And he said that comedians would come up to him and be like, man, that was my joke. He'd be like, I'm so sorry. Here's money. And just hand him money.
There you go.
There you go.
Also, Dane Cook and Carlos Mencia.
Oh, really?
They both got in big trouble for that.
Really?
Probably why you never hear about them anymore.
I don't, except when you know what I hear about Dane Cook?
That people don't like him.
And he's a pervy creep.
Oh, is he?
And dates underage girls. Or right at 18.
Oh, who's that other guy, that one comedian? I don't know if he's any good. Chris D'Elia, I think. He's the one who got cut out of Army of Darkness.
Yep, that was him.
Or not Army of Darkness. What's that movie called?
Oh,
Army of Darkness is a good movie. No. Army of the Dead.
That's what it was. It was so terrible. It was on Netflix. It was the zombie one. It was so bad.
He got cut out and they digitally put in Tig Notaro instead.
I like her. She's awesome.
Yeah, he's apparently a creep.
He is. He was on Vine when Vine was a thing. And I remember I started following him because I was like, this guy's sarcastic. And then like he posted more and more as he got more famous. I was like, this guy's disgusting. And he's disgusting. He's so gross. Yeah, he's gross. I said it.
Don't be grossos.
Yeah, don't be pervs. Be nice.
Date people your own age. Yeah. You creep.
A couple years is okay if they're above a minor. If they're above 18.
Like, the older you get, the further the distance between you can be. Like, a 50-year-old and a 40-year-old is fine.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, a 25-year-old and a 15-year-old, not okay.
Or
it's only 10 years.
Even a, 30-year-old and an 18-year-old. You're at two very different places in your life.
Too much.
But, like, a 30-year-old and a 25-year-old. More acceptable.
All of the, yeah.
Still pushing it, but more acceptable.
Half your age plus 7 is the rule according to people on the internet.
Oh, that's right.
Parks and Rec and wherever else. It's
You've said this before.
It's a rule that's been around forever.
Yes.
So
what you got?
Don't be a creep. How many Star Wars is Caitlin?
2.
No, it's just the one.
Oh, okay.
Part 1 of the finale for Bad Batch. I watched that
already. Okay.
Yeah, one more. Well, they're doing a season 2. They already announced it.
Oh, okay.
They announced it like the day of part 1 of the finale coming out. It's like, what? I'm surprised they didn't wait they did with yeah. I'm surprised they didn't wait like with Loki.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Though I guess they had to like not. They couldn't just leave people because there's like questions about like Omega and stuff that's not answered yet. So and it's like there's no way they can answer this in part 2 of this finale because
there's so much
stuff's happening in a way that they can't answer these questions.
Gotcha.
That show's pretty good. I'm liking it. I like seeing the transition from the Republic to the Empire. You see a lot more of that, and
cool.
Seeing how like they start phasing out the clones and in favor of like non-clone army, just like regular dudes. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
I know you started a Wizard of Earthsea.
I did. I didn't get very far.
What?
Because when I went on vacation.
It's so short.
Well, I know. I listened to like maybe half of it. I like it so far. He's just kind of doing his own thing.
How far in are you? What's going on? What's he up to?
He just like made a shadow person. And
Oh man, that's like where it first kicks off for realsies.
And he kind of got in trouble, and he like really took it out of him.
Yeah, he like almost died.
Yeah.
The Archmage did die. It's messed up.
Oh, did he? I didn't even realize that. Maybe, I don't think they told me that yet. Well, you just ruined it. You just ruined the whole thing.
Well,
don't tell me anymore.
Anyway, I finished the second book, Tombs of Atuan. And
you liked it?
I like it a lot. It's very different, and you get to see a very different area of the Earthsea stuff. So like, you get to see. So you remember at the beginning of the book,
I'm picturing a quaint little island that he's on right now. A quaint little monastic island.
Yeah, that's like how it's like these nice islands and like the Ireland place from Star Wars.
Yes.
Stuff like that. The ocean's crashing. There's
the Skellig Island.
Yeah. Yeah. There's mountains and it's beautiful. So the people who invaded at the beginning of the book, from the Kargish lands. Yes. Tombs of Atuan takes place there. Oh. So you can see more of those people.
Are they good or bad?
They're pretty bad.
Okay.
They worship the nameless ones who are dark like shadows and stuff. Yeah.
That's what he conjured then, huh?
It's similar, yeah.
Okay. From their realm or something? I
think I said some things wrong last time. Like I referred to the main character. So the main character is not the main character from the first book.
In the second book?
It's not. He's not the main character. He's in it.
Okay.
But he's not the main character. He's not the focus.
Ged?
Yeah, Ged. Okay. A.k.a. Sparrowhawk.
Sparrowhawk.
What I meant to call this person is the Eaten One.
One?
Yeah. Ooh. Which also sounds horrible. But yeah, so it focuses on... and also said... anytime one of the like priestesses from this cult die, they are they're like supposedly reborn, and they have to go find the person who was born the same day.
Right.
It's only one of the priestesses. It's like it is the Eaten One. She's the forever priestess, or the first priestess, something like that.
Weird.
So it's like yeah. So it's so weird. It's great.
That is weird.
But yeah, basically like whenever that priestess dies, they go and find whoever was born that same day,
same time,
same hour or something like that. And they're like, all right, we found her. And when she's 5, we're going to take her away and she's going to become this dark priestess for us.
That's so weird.
And that's the main character.
Oh. Are they good or bad? They sound bad.
It seems pretty bad, right? So it's about her and coming to terms with how she's seeing this horrible desert world she lives in. Because she lives in the desert. The Kargish lands are desert. Or at least this part of it is.
Yeah.
At the tombs of Atuan.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I'm into it.
I've only read like the first chapter of the third book, The Farthest Shore.
Oh.
I'll update you when I get further.
The book is kind of just like him wandering through his life. He's just kind of going through his life and just following him like, oh, you're going to stay with this old man? Oh, now you're going to go on a boat? Oh, now you're in this like monastery with all these other people. And
yeah, the wizarding school.
I don't like that there's not any ladies there.
Well, I can't help you with that.
Wow.
That's not my chair, not my problem there.
Not my chair, not my problem.
He does a lot more wandering, but there's a reason for it. Okay. But it's pretty cool. Apparently Le Guin never intended to make more than the one book.
But everybody loved it so much.
Yeah. So like there's stuff where like I mentioned that she mentions the Tombs of Atuan in the first book, and she's like, I just mentioned that to be like, that would sound cool. Flesh out the story, like, oh, this is how his life turned out. He did these things, and then it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna write another one, so I have to like do these things at some point.
Oh man,
so
that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
It's pretty good.
I like it
so far.
No smushy.
Yeah, no mushy in this second one either.
Okay, that's good. Let's see what else. Oh, I told you this right before we started recording. My manager at work, he stopped me. We were in the break room, and he was like, "Hey, I listened to that episode about the Throneberries." I was like, "Oh, did you?" I was like, "Oh crap, you were the one who told me about it, weren't you?" I was like, "Man, that's been on the list forever." He's like, "Yeah, my brother." I think he said brother, maybe brother-in-law. They had property up there that butted up right with the Throneberries, and they would go and like hunt with them and like eat dinner with them and like hang out with them. And he said like they were pretty reclusive, just off the grid kind of folks. Like, they were fine, little odd, but totally, fine and innocent, whatever. So they just lived in a shack that was like in the side of like a hill or like something. And I was like, God, that's so weird that you knew him and like your brother knew him. This is weird, like it was 6 degrees, of Kevin Bacon.
He knew these weird criminal hillbilly weirdos. Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was cool.
That is cool.
Something we were messaged last week by... Okay, first off, name correction. I think it was episode 56. Nina Bolton and Leslie. I listened back to it. We said we thought it was Hog or Hag. It is neither of those. It is Hagi, which I never would have guessed. So we were sent a message by it would have been, it's Leslie's nephew. She never got to meet him. She died when she was 14, and he was born 11 months later. But her nephew messaged us and anyways, just thanked us for talking about Leslie and how he didn't meet her, how his dad, who would have been Leslie's brother-in-law, this guy's dad has reached out to like other podcasts and news media outlets to hopefully get her story out. And he said, but like we said, I didn't have enough information to do a whole podcast episode on her. And he said that was the same thing. People researched it and were like, there's just not enough information to do an episode on. But he thanked us for, at least talking about it and keeping it up. And that one was really, really sad. She left her home. Just to recap, Leslie was 14 when she passed away. She was murdered. She left her home one afternoon. She asked her parents if she could just go play. It's like by this levee by her house. And from the time they said you can leave to when she was found dead was only 3 hours. It was such a short time span. So somebody knows something. It happened so close to home. She was murdered. She had been strangled and sexually assaulted. He stated that the person that the family thought that had murdered her has since passed away. He said that his dad had talked about it some, on Facebook and trying to keep it alive. He said I could kind of talk about what his dad said. I don't want to read it verbatim just to respect their privacy. Let me, hold on. I have to read over. Blah, 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 blah. This is what he said. 30 years ago, this is a few years ago he posted this. 30 years ago, they found Leslie's body about 5 blocks from our house on the 1st of November, 1985. She was supposed to be at our house for dinner that night, but she never made it. She's died once. Let's please not let it happen again. Social media may be our only chance to close her case. And I remember Leslie's father was involved, and he desperately wanted to find out, who did this to his daughter before he passed away. But unfortunately, Leslie's dad has since passed away, which I think we talked about. I don't want to say a name, but the primary suspect was on one of their cousins from Missouri. But I assume that's the cousin that's since passed away, but he didn't specify. But anyways, it was really good to hear from a family member reach out. And that's why I like doing the unsolved cases, because I, like to put their story out there. Maybe one person listens to it and they're like, holy crap, that jogs my memory about something, and it'll get something out there. Or you just hear about it and you just think about Leslie and her family. That's keep her in your thoughts and her family in your thoughts too. So anyways, I thought that was really interesting. All
right. It's very cool when people reach out like that.
I like it. I was really excited to read that. I was really happy to read that. I just want to thank him for reaching out to us like that. That was very awesome.
Especially when it's like, hey, there's not a lot out here about this thing. I'm glad you covered it.
Yes.
It's like, oh, well, I didn't mean to do a good thing, but I did.
But we did. And we like doing this. We like doing what we do. We just hate, I don't like that it's on such a grim topic, but not all of our stories are grim. Bass Reeves was pretty cool.
Yeah, we've had like 2 that weren't, I guess.
Yeah, that had moderately not depressing endings. Anyways, so
Like
yeah.
the closest to a not depressing one we've had other than Bass Reeves was what, like Jennifer Schuett, where
That was pretty depressing, though.
that guy then killed himself and stuff.
Yeah.
And then also
Larry Porter Chisholm.
that guy
That was awesome.
where nobody died, fortunately. He just got away.
He
and
just
that's,
got away.
You know
He
what,
still got away.
It's pretty baller. Good job.
Man,
but also, you're a
it is.
criminal and we need to get you.
Yep.
We're going to get you.
Gonna get you.
He's probably dead or in Mexico.
Yeah. Or somewhere. Anyway, so I thought that was very, very awesome. What else you got? You got anything else?
Let's see. I've been playing Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
I've been playing Pokemon Sword of Sword and Shield because they always release two. It seems like people don't like this one very much, and I'm not sure why. I haven't looked into it. But it's a very good YouTube or podcast game because it is just mindlessly me grinding out levels. And the main... I want to get your opinion sometime.
Okay.
Of like...
I don't do Pokemon.
I know, but
Okay.
of like the cuteness levels of the Pokemon, because I feel like the ones they've got in this game are hideous.
Oh, no.
I don't know if that's how they are in all of them after Gen 1. I only ever played the originals, which is like red, blue, yellow.
What about Jigglypuff? It was always cute.
Jigglypuff might be in the game. There's like some of the old ones that are like still in. And also that was the thing people were mad about because like every other Pokemon game had all the Pokemon from the previous games included along with
Plus
the
some new ones.
100 or whatever they added.
Oh my gosh, there's that many Pokemon?
Yeah, I don't know if they continue. I know in in Gold and Silver they added 100.
That's too many.
So it went from 251 to 351.
That's too many.
I don't know if they kept adding 100 each time. Probably not. That's all.
You
That
want to
is
know
too
something
many.
interesting? Did you ever play Pokemon Go?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I dabbled. But it would be different animals depending on the location you went. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
and they'd be characteristic of that area.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? They do that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, there's like Pokemon in like different sections of the area. They also have, so this one takes place in a place called the Galar region, which is based on the UK sort of.
Okay.
And they have like different versions of Pokemon. So it was like, I found a Meowth. And I'm like, I know what a Meowth is. And I saw this Meowth. And I'm like, what the flip is this? This is completely different. And it's even like a different type. So there's like the types. There's like normal. There's fire, electricity, grass.
What?
Like all those types of Pokemon. That's what they have. Like Pikachu is electric type.
Right.
Oh,
Meowth wasn't all those things.
Yeah, Meowth was normal. He's a normal type,
Right.
typically. This one was like steel type.
What?
I'm like, what is this?
When did we get medals?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play when they added steel, which is also a problem. I'll tell you in a second. So like, I found some person in a town who was like, I have a regular Meowth. If you have a Galar region Meowth, I'll trade you. I was like, yeah, because I don't like this thing. He looks hideous and weird. Give me a
regular Meowth.
I want the regular Meowth, like from the cartoon,
I'm used to that one.
who could talk and use English words, unlike all the other Pokemon.
Yeah, he did. He sure could. Except he sounded really weird.
He's like, that's right, Meowth.
Yeah, it was obnoxious.
It was. He's a bad guy. He's supposed to be. The types has like really thrown me off, and it threw me off a little bit. So like, I only ever played the originals, like I said, and some of the type stuff, like you're trying to find like what's strong and weak, and so it's like fire is strong against grass. Got it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Grass is strong against water. Makes sense because like grass stuff that absorbs water to be plants.
Okay.
Electric is strong against water because it holds a current.
Right.
Ground is strong against electric because it stops the current.
Right.
I get it. Then they have like weird ones, and they've always had these ones like ghost, psychic, fighting. I'm like, I don't remember what's what.
Yeah.
I think psychic is weak against ghost. I don't remember. And then they also started adding like new ones like steel and dark and fairy. And I'm like, I don't know. So I had to like find a chart to look at every time. I'm like, this one's steel. Okay. Fire's good against steel. Got it. Okay.
Really? Why would electricity not be good against steel?
It might be. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I have to look at the chart every other 30 minutes.
There's a fly being very obnoxious.
And yeah, so I've just been playing that, I guess. It's fine.
Is that what you've been playing all week?
For the most part, yeah. I went back to playing Dead Cells, which I think I've talked about on this before. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's a side-scrolling roguelike game and it controls really well.
Oh yeah.
And you get power-ups and they're cool. Do you have anything else? Because I have one more dumb thing.
Oh, you do? Let's see. No, just that.
Maybe two more, actually.
Vacation. Yeah, that was good. It rained almost every day, so that wasn't as good. Some funny thing. My nephew's so funny. it was my parents, my niece, my nephew, me and John all went. And then we hung out with my grandpa. We went to go see my grandpa and then some other family friends. All my family lives there. So anyway, we were watching the Olympics one night and it was, what was that called? High jumping?
Yeah, I think that's what you called it.
Something like that. And it was the women's high jumping. And there was... there was a girl who had on the bikini shorts with the track shirt and like bikini bottoms, and the camera closed up. It kind of did a close up on her booty as she was jumping over. And my nephew stopped and he said, "She's booty is pretty." And I just died laughing. "She's booty is pretty." I was like, all right, well, starting them young. Whatever.
Inappropriate.
I was like, okay. It was hilarious. And he was convinced that he wanted spicy peanuts from John. John was like, "You're not going to like it. It's spicy." He took one. He was like, I was like, "Is it good?" And he's like making a face of pure like disgust and pain. He's like, "It's good. I like it." It was so funny.
That's like my friend who was an adult when we went to an Indian restaurant. And they're like,
who is this?
You know who it is.
Trey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it was like, "Do you want no spice, medium spice, or lots of spice?" Yeah. And I was like, medium spice. That's good enough for me. And Trey is like, "I want the hot spice because I'm a man and I feel like I'm being challenged here." And he did not do well.
He lost that one.
He was drinking so much water, the waiter started bringing out 2 glasses at a time.
He knew what was up. He's like, "This white boy."
He's like, "These honkies, I swear."
How was your medium? Was it still quite hot?
It was good enough, yeah. The medium is usually fine for me. Like, it's spicy without being overpowering. It makes my nose run, and that's what I'm all about.
You even you get the extra spicy when you order the noodles at the Thai Zen.
Yeah, I do.
Rice place, ramen place.
I
want the spicy on the side, and they give you the little cups of all the spices.
Yeah, it's got the red pepper and whatever, like chili paste or something. It's really good stuff.
It's very red. It looks very spicy.
It's very good too. Big fan.
Disagree. And while we were in Florida, guess what me and John did?
Went to the beach.
Oh yeah, we did go to the beach. And it was overcast, and I put on SPF 70 twice, and I still got fried.
I don't know. What do you do in Florida? You got hopped up on bath salts and caught COVID.
No.
That's what you do in Florida, right?
Pretty much, yeah. There was a lot of that. No. We booked our planes to Scotland in December. We're going to Scotland. It's real.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I know. But luckily I checked and I was like, "Do you have an easy transfer policy?" It was like, "Yes, easily transferable." I was like, cool. That's what I need.
You should watch the episode of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place where he is attacked by Scotsmen. It's very funny, though. You gotta learn.
Attacked by Scotsmen?
Yeah, they come to get revenge on him because he said mean things when he was in Glasgow.
Oh my gosh.
He ordered a cheeseburger and they gave him one of those weird cheeseburgers where it's like, have you ever seen this? Like the Scottish cheeseburger?
Mm-mm.
It's like, they
take an egg or something on it?
I don't think so. It's like they fry like the burger part with they bread it and put cheese in it and fry that.
That sounds amazing.
And he was like, "I ordered a cheeseburger." And so he's like very mad about that. And like when he's telling everybody, they're like, "Oh no, you didn't."
It sounds amazing.
It does sound pretty good, but yeah, that episode's pretty good. You should watch that.
Have you heard of a Scottish egg? It's like
it's
like a soft boiled egg, put into a.
It just reminded me of the first episode of Doctor Who with Matt Smith when he meets Amelia Pond and he's wanting something to eat and she's like, "I don't know how to cook." And he's like, "You're Scottish, fry something."
That's hilarious.
So,
okay, well, not looking forward to the food as much then, because
I don't know. There's probably regular cheeseburgers.
My food options got severely limited over the course of these past couple weeks.
You can do research.
I've been told that I have a gluten and milk allergy, so that's fun. Have to eliminate both of those from my diet.
Yeah, you can't have that cheeseburger.
Nope, because
that's breaded. And
I did have. There is one place. Actually, there's 2 places in Conway. Before we left, I was like, man, I don't want to cook a lot and just have it sitting here, So I was like, there's got to be a place that has a gluten-free crust, a pizza place, gluten-free crust with vegan cheese. There's one just right down the road from our house here. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll get the gluten-free crust with the dairy-free. I think I said gluten-free cheese. I meant dairy-free cheese.
You said vegan cheese at some point?
Okay, that is vegan cheese. I think I'd just rather have it without the cheese next time. It wasn't, I think solidified, it would be fine. But all melty, it was not a good texture.
I'm of the opinion generally that I would just not eat substitutes of things.
Yeah.
I would just avoid those things.
The gluten-free crust was not bad at all. It was not bad at all.
There's a place I go to when I was trying to pretend that I was going to do keto for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I would get the cauliflower crust. It was actually pretty good.
But it has cheese in it, so I can't get it.
Yeah, but they might have like, I don't know if that place has your weird cheese.
Yeah.
But order it with no cheese.
Yeah, I think I would get the gluten-free crust and then just everything I want with no cheese. It's just easier
just
that
like
way.
Tomato sauce or whatever.
Well, this one had an olive oil garlic base. I like that.
Yeah, I like that for some stuff.
I like it a lot.
The pizza I usually get when I go to the good place and not like garbage like Domino's, which is what I had this week. I will get, it has like a olive whatever base.
You go to Hideaway? Have you been to Hideaway? They have a good olive oil garlic base.
I don't care for Hideaway.
Get out. They have a good gluten-free crust.
It's fine.
Their gluten-free crust is good. I have had that before.
That's good. They used to not have one.
They have one now.
I don't know. Only other thing, I watched the commentary track for Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. It's on YouTube. I don't think it's on Amazon.
Bored or something?
Yes, but this also the show is very good, and they do the commentary in the style of the characters from the show, which is really funny because one of them is he's always like, "This isn't very good, is it?" And they're just like, "What are you talking about? You just don't know what you're talking. You don't know anything about storytelling." So that's pretty funny. If you watched Garth Marenghi's Dark Place based on my recommendation last week,
did not
go to YouTube and just type in Garth Marenghi commentary. You'll find it. Nobody cares to take these things down. It's fine. I also watched some episodes because I guess I was just feeling childish playing Pokemon. I watched some Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original.
How is that?
It's real rough.
It is. Hallie and Tristan got into a phase of watching that, and I was like, I used to love this show.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to watch as an adult because one, it's annoying.
Yes.
Like the characters are.
So annoying.
And I didn't realize that when I was 5 years old.
No, I loved it.
But also just like the weird editing they have to do to make the show. Are you familiar with this?
What?
How it's actually a Japanese show that they've like edited in American stuff with?
Shut up.
You didn't know this. Okay.
Is the suit fighting?
All the suit fighting, like 99% of the suit fighting, that's from the original Japanese TV show.
Is this just for the original show when it first aired, or is it?
I think it's for all of them.
Because I know like people that played like the Green Ranger on some later episodes, people like love him. He's like a kung fu guy or something, karate guy.
The Green Ranger plays a flute and his Godzilla robot comes out. It's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. Eventually he becomes the White Ranger.
Oh.
But so basically all the stuff where it's like the characters just hanging out at this like. They hang out at this like gym/juice bar place. Yes,
they do.
In Angel Grove. And all that stuff, that was made in America or maybe even Canada.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff where they fight like the grunts, the putty monsters.
Yes.
Some of that stuff, they're like out of their suit and then it'll transition to a part where they're in their suit and it's like, this is very clearly a different location. I'm an adult. I could see that now.
I never noticed.
Wow, this is clearly like on a rooftop in Tokyo now. This is way different.
Really?
Yeah, if you know to look for that stuff now, it's very obvious. And also like the dubbing on the like the main villain because it's just a lady.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh wow, that's clearly not her voice. But I just as a 5-year-old, you don't realize that.
You don't know. You're like, okay, whatever, but.
Yeah, so that was a fun trip down memory lane.
Ugh. Don't watch it.
That theme song rules though.
Go Power Rangers. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, that song still rules.
Tristan loves it.
It's a great song.
Yeah, he loves it.
That song holds up. The Young Bucks of wrestling, their theme song sounds an awful lot like it. So.
Speaking of children's stuff, John and I are pretty deep into Adventure Time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were having one. I was like, whoa.
Negative. Season 6, episode 39 is where we're at now.
Oh, I meant to mention, I watched...
Get through the first season.
I watched the second season. I skipped the first season because I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
I watched the second season, or at least most of it.
It gets better.
Yeah, I was enjoying it.
Yeah. Just keep going. It gets better. John was really liking it now. I was like, aren't you so glad you just powered through that first season or two? He's like, yeah, it was pretty rough.
Kind of like Parks and Rec. You gotta get gotta get past
it.
The first 2 seasons, I think.
The first season's pretty rough for sure.
And I think it's the third season when Chris and Ben show up, and that's when the show like finally takes off. That's when it gets going.
Love it. Love them. They're so good. Anyway.
So that's all I got. I guess when I leave, I'm gonna watch The Suicide Squad.
Oh, is that on?
That is out.
Is it on HBO?
HBO Max.
Do you have to pay for it?
Not extra.
Oh, really?
It's free. Except for like your electricity and your subscription, but you know.
Interesting.
I was listening to a podcast where they kept making fun of people who would go like, anytime they'd say like, it's free on Netflix, and somebody would go like, it's not free, you got to pay the subscription. It's like every single thing they would talk about. It's like, yeah, I went and got my vaccine, it was free. Oh no, it's not free. You got to pay taxes and you got to pay for petrol. They're from Australia.
Petrol.
And I was like, so I'm stealing their joke. I'm a hack.
I will say, this week, the place we were staying at, it's called The Villages. It's in Florida. It's the biggest, it's like 40 square miles. It's the biggest continuous residential neighborhood in the U.S., but it also has like 2 Targets, 2 Publixes. It's huge. It's massive. They have like 3 town squares that are really quaint. It's beautiful. It's a golf cart community, and the house we stayed at, it was an Airbnb, and it came with a golf cart. And you bet we rode that thing every day, and it was awesome. It had it was not like your rinky-dink black and white golf cart that you rent at the country club. Like, it was like gas powered, and it had some get up and go to it.
That sounds pretty ballin'.
It was so much fun. And they have lanes like specifically for golf carts. And then on the main strips where cars are, they have these like side roads that run parallel to them that are golf cart roads. It was so much fun.
It's pretty fun. That is fun.
It was fun. We rode it every day. It was even in the rain, because it had like little things to zip up if it started raining.
Yeah, it would need to, in case like it's raining and that's your only means of getting around, and you need to go to the Publix.
You wouldn't be able to get from one end to the other. I looked up how long it would take to get in the golf cart from one end of the villages to the other end, like north to south. It would take like 3 hours in a golf cart. It's huge.
Can you not get to like the stores with the golf cart?
It depends on how far away you live from one, really.
Okay.
I mean, it just depends. Where we stayed, there was a Publix within a 10-minute golf cart ride.
But there you go. Yeah.
It was really close. But some people don't live, like, to get to the nearest like town square area, we had to take a car. It was like a 35-minute golf cart ride. It was like a 12-minute car ride.
I'm less on board now, but
it was still so much. We were in the farthest north corner of the villages. We were like, behind us was a baseball field that was not a part of the villages, or softball field, or
I don't know. You've lost me on this. I thought I could drive a golf cart anywhere, and now that I've learned that I can't.
Most people can.
It sounds just like having a bus stop, and just like, well, this bus stop is like a 40-minute walk from you, and that's the best you can do, and it's 400 degrees outside, and the bus stop doesn't even go to where you need to go to very closely. And sounds like it's just slightly better than that.
No, it was awesome. Yeah, I hope I would take a 3.5 hour golf cart ride. It was so much fun.
I wonder if it would last that long.
Yes, it would last the tank would last 180 miles.
Okay.
So it wasn't that far.
I don't have anything else to talk about.
I think I'm tapped out. I love golf carts.
And
is your phone broken? Your phone looks broken.
No.
That looks like screen shattering.
No. Well, it's not. It's just Darth Vader's glove.
Ah, that's cool. I see. Oh, that's good. That's good. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I'll report back more on this third Earthsea book and the Suicide Squad, and maybe more Power Rangers. Who knows?
Ooh, please no. Just leave that one out.
Who knows?
Ugh. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for joining us this week. We hope you've had a good summer and a good week and a good everything. This has been It's been Paint the Town Dead. You can catch us on Facebook at Paint the Town Dead. You can catch us on Instagram, Paint the Town Dead, all one word. You can catch us on Twitter at PTTDpod, and you can email us at pttdpod@gmail.com. We also have a TikTok that we've done nothing with, and it's also PTTDpod. Please be sure to subscribe on anything you can, rate 5 stars, anything you can, like anything you can, share anything you can, comment and interact with us. It helps us out, and we really greatly appreciate it. We appreciate you guys listening. We love doing this. We hope you like listening to it. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, guys, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Go, Power Rangers.